Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Craig Combs. How's it going, man?
Pretty good, Casey. How are you doing today?
Doing well. So kind of just introduce yourself and really tell everybody what you do.
So my name is Craig Combs. Right now, I'm a student at Purdue University. I'm involved in the Big Ten Student U program here at Purdue University, which is a student-run organization that's kind of run through the Big Ten Conference, Big Ten Network. And it's for the 14 host schools, and we run student-run broadcasts of Big Ten events that aren't broadcast on television. And I'm a play-by-play mostly. Occasionally, I hop over into the analyst seat because we are a student-run organization, and so we don't have any current athletes that are on the broadcast with us. So we act as the analyst essentially for the broadcast, but mostly I'm a play-by-play guy for the Big Ten Network and Big Ten Student U while I'm a student here at Purdue University.
Yeah. So what got you into broadcasting?
It was a wild story. I spent a little time. I'm a non-traditional student, so I've come back to school. I spent a little time moonlighting as a professional wrestler.
Really?
Yeah. Go look it up on YouTube. You can find it if you look for it. So I spent a little bit of time moonlighting as a professional wrestler. It was something that I really enjoyed and I wanted to do as a kid growing up. And out of high school, I decided to take a swing and give it a try. And I had fun doing it. And I gained a lot of skills from doing that because, and I joke with people all the time, but if you can stand in front of a crowd of 10,000 people half naked with oil on and talking to a microphone, you can surely sit in a broadcasting booth with all your clothes on and be able to figure it out. So I have like I said, I have a non-traditional path. I spent some time doing the wrestling, and then now I'm back in school and broadcasting here at Purdue. It's kind of a right place, right time scenario. I came back to school. I was looking for something to do because I'm not able to compete athletically any longer. And I sat down and I compiled all of my skills and everything that I feel like I'm strong in and good at doing. And it kind of landed on, broadcasting. I wanted to be a journalist as a kid. And I just feel comfortable on a microphone. I feel comfortable telling stories and talking to people. And so I'd be lying to you if I told you that it was a natural fit. You can ask my boss. The first event that I called, I mimed most of it. If you catch my drift, any other broadcasters listening, I didn't say a whole lot because I was nervous. But I love it now, and it's my passion. It's something that I really enjoy, and I've been really fortunate to be at such a great university like Purdue University, and have so many great athletes to be able to use my voice or lend my voice to tell their stories about the sporting contest that we're calling games for.
So when did you decide to go back to school? Like, how old were you at the time?
I decided to go back to school right at the beginning of COVID.
Okay.
I was working at a car manufacturing plant in Illinois, where I was born and raised at.
Right.
And that specific plant, and it doesn't matter. The brand doesn't matter. That specific car plant, they shut down and they fired like 2,000 people. And unfortunately, I was one of the 2,000 because I was one of the most recent hires. I'd only been there 2 years.
Right.
And so it kind of sent my whole life into chaos because I was wrestling at the time, and I was also working there, and it was sustaining me and everything. And then to lose that, and then literally to fall backwards into COVID, and so then there was nothing going on. I kind of just had a reset in my life. I took a step back and what do I want to do, and where do I want to lead this life, or what direction in this life do I want to head in? And as a child, I was brought to Purdue University. My great uncle graduated from Purdue, and so I was going to football games from the time that I was 10. And um, obviously, anybody knows if you're going back to school, you're most likely going to be going into debt. And so I thought of what's the only place on earth I'd want to go into debt at, and I landed on Purdue University. And so it's literally it's just been a whirlwind the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. So just kind of take me, really through all this. What kind of sports have you called?
Um, I have called volleyball, men's and women's basketball, wrestling, baseball, and softball. So those are all the sports that I've called for Purdue on the Big Ten Network. I have yet to call football, and I've yet to call soccer. So those are the sports I have called, and those are the two that I'm looking forward to calling here in the future.
What's the most favorite sport that you've called so far?
I This is the PC answer, but my favorite sport to call is the next one. Um,
Really?
Again, yeah, I just feel fortunate to be able to do this. Like this is a dream,
Yeah.
and most of the people that you're going to interview or that you're going to speak with, kind of like yourself. I mean, with what you're doing as well, it's a dream
Yeah.
just to be around it and be around the people and the smells of the game, that the popcorn and the hot dogs and all that. Like my favorite is just the next one because it's the next opportunity that I have to make somebody else sound great or sound like they deserve to sound.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm a huge challenge guy. And so I like a challenge. And so I like, especially if it's a sport I haven't called before, or if it's a sport that I'm not as knowledgeable on. I mean, tonight I'm calling with my partner David. I'm calling Purdue versus Michigan in softball,
Yeah.
and I was learning just last night. I was learning more rules about the game of softball, and it's just a fun thing to be able to continuously learn, and you never know everything. You're always learning every single day. And so yeah, so I would have to say the next sport is my favorite.
What's the most hardest sport that you've had to call?
um that's tough. I don't really have, I mean, wrestling, like amateur wrestling, when I first started calling it a year ago, um not necessarily that it was hard to call it. um it's just that each sport individually has their own little quirks or rules or things that someone who's been a part of that sport for decades, they know it right off the top. And so when they're listening to it on the broadcast, if you mess up or you don't explain it thoroughly or you just don't know, um, it's hard then to be able to talk knowledgeably or talk about that sport or call that sport. And so, someone sitting at home who's a baseball fan, and you talk about a drop third strike rule, and then you talk about it and you don't know anything about it, or you mess the rule up when you're talking about it or explaining it. That person at home watching is going to lose their interest in hearing you talk about the sport, or you're going to lose your credibility. So for me, it's just about learning different sports and learning different rules and being as knowledgeable as I can for each sport that I have the fortune to call.
Yeah. So just kind of talk about like, what year are you in college right now since you went back?
I'm like sophomore, junior. It's based off of my credits. Like if I take like 6 more credits, I'm a junior.
Okay.
So I'm technically in the middle of my sophomore junior year. So going into next fall, I'll be a junior.
Okay. And then just like, just some of the things that what do you want to just like accomplish in this next year?
Just getting my voice out there. I just want as many people to hear me as possible, and whether they like me or don't like me, it's just about getting your content out there. I mean, you know that firsthand.
Yep.
Um, and and I've posted. Right now I'm in the middle of a submission for the STAA's Jim Nance Award
Yep.
for the College Broadcaster of the Year, and um, somebody asked me the other day. They're like, "Hey, are you gonna be disappointed if you lose?" And at the end of the day, it's not about winning it for me or getting first place. It's I
Right.
just want my voice. I just want my voice out there. I just want anyone to be able to hear me. And Casey, that's how you found me, and able to extend my reach, if you will. And
Yeah.
for me, it's just about I want people to hear my voice, and I want people to either tell me that they like it or that they don't like it. And the ones that don't, I just want to hear why. I want critique. I want to be able to grow because um, in the business of broadcasting, it's about growth and development,
Right.
and never being satisfied with the last game that you called, and it's always about moving on to the next one.
Right.
And so over the next year, my goal is just to extend my reach as far as I can and allow as many people to hear my voice calling sports as I can. But for me personally, it's about growth and getting better. And so over the next year, I just want to keep getting better and keep learning and keep growing, um, so that I can eventually become the best broadcaster that I can for me personally.
All right. Well, Craig, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck in your broadcast career. We will definitely be having you on again sometime.
Thanks a lot, Casey. I look forward to it.